Yo, what is up world, Mighty Beavs here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. It is really good to see you guys. This week's vlog, we're going to be breaking down some Cobra Kai cinematography, so it should be a really fun one. But before we get into it, you know what to do. Roll that intro, and I'll see you guys soon. If you have not seen this show, do not worry, I'm not going to be spoiling anything. I just want to break down one of the scenes that I thought was very interesting. Everything I will be talking about will be based off of the framework, and all the things that I've been learning, I now want to try and exercise myself to visualize and see all of these elements a part of the framework. So this is what makes this opening sequence, to me, it has really good cinematography and a very limited space. So let's just jump right into it. All right, so I'm not going to play the actual clip because that would just be probably take a long time. So we'll just scrub through it here, and as you can see, we got the Cobra Kai gi on, which is pretty awesome. It's a throwback to the original Karate Kid. And then it opens up to a very similar shot, top-down shot, which is one of the frames we'll be looking at. I have 7 of them that I do want to share with you, and we'll actually break down. Got this shot here of him waking up, him getting out of bed, drinking beer. Probably hot beer, I would assume, because he spits it out. If you've ever drinking hot beer, you might know what this tastes like. It's not very good. This closet scene, which is really cool. Someone's in the closet with a camera. It's pretty awesome. And then we move on to him making breakfast. Just looks like fried bologna, which may be a good breakfast. I don't know. Is it better than your breakfast that you had this morning? Or that you're gonna have tomorrow? All right, this is another shot. He's presumably by a window, and then boom, kicks on the TV, watching some crazy 80s stuff. This guy's like trapped in the 80s. If you haven't seen this show yet, there's a part of the 80s that is just kept alive with our main character. Cool. And then he's eating, and then we have our wide shot. Boom, kick out to this small apartment he lives in, and then that's it. Okay, so we have a top-down shot, which again is very similar to the opening shot of this small little scene or sequence. It's very similar. It's a top-down shot, so you're probably wondering, how do you get a top-down shot to look three-dimensional or to look cinematic? All you need to do is put a light to the side of your character as the camera looks down, because if you put a light to the side of our character, you're going to see here that the light is just falling all the way across our guy's body, right? So that is where the light is initially hitting, which makes a lot of these shadows on this side give the illusion that it's three-dimensional, right? Because we're looking down. So let's draw out some of these shadow areas. So all of this blue here is shadow. We've got some more shadows here created from his body and created from this pillow. We have this huge dark black hole here because there's absolutely nothing there. So all of these areas are shadow areas, and there's actually even some here, which is, if you could imagine, there's a window and it's just shooting right down on our character. So now let's just paint all of the areas where light is falling. You're gonna see like a nice little pattern here. We've got light there, of course. We've got light here. We've got light on his leg. We even have light on this pillow. There's a little sliver of light here, and even on his arm. It's actually pretty crazy, right? And then right there. Cool. So if you can see and you notice all of these colors, oh, I'm forgetting there's light on this bag of chips as well. But there's a nice little balance of dark to light, dark to light. That is something that you want to do when you're trying to make your images look three-dimensional, and this is just one way that you can do it when you're using a top-down shot looking down at whatever subject you're filming. Just put the light to the side and everything else will fall in its place. All right, so the next shot in that sequence is the beer. This is a huge, like, I would imagine, sponsor, because this guy just drinks nothing but this beer in this entire show. But if you notice, all we have done in this sequence is just move the camera to the side facing the window. So we are backlighting our subject, and you can tell because we have these little highlight areas. You can see all of these highlighted areas right here where the sun or where the light is falling, right? We have light here on the wall. We have light all the way down his arm, even on this pillow here. And that's his head right there. You can't really see, it's super out of focus. And then also, if you look at this bottle, we have these highlighted areas on this shiny surface, which makes it stand out. And that is why you want to backlight your subjects, because you get these really cool and interesting highlights, which you can see here on this bottle. And then we're going to go in with the blue pen and then just color in all of our shadow areas. And let's just see the differences. And we're actually shooting into the L of this room, which is giving this shot a lot more depth. And then also, another spot that I'm forgetting, we have this table here, which is lined with light, right? You can see all of this light right here. Now that is giving this image a much more three-dimensional feel. And then also you can see the shadow from the bottle, which is going this way, making it feel a lot more three-dimensional just by placing the light away from the camera and you're shooting into the shadow, right? So again, shooting into the L of the room, which is something that I'm actually doing right now. You can see the corner of my bedroom makes it feel like this shot is a lot more three-dimensional. And that's exactly what's going on in this shot as well. If you could kind of imagine, that's the corner of the room. Then you have this wall here and you have that back wall there. So we're shooting along a wall, which gives us a lot more depth. It makes this image feel way more three-dimensional than our top-down shot, right? So again, if you just notice all of the blue areas and then all of the yellow areas, here's some more. There's a really nice balance of light and dark. You want to add that to your image as well, just to add interest and to help focus our viewers' eyes on where they need to be focusing, which right now is this Coors Light bottle, and this here, again, is where our main focus is, because one, it is the only thing that's in focus. Everything else is out of focus as well. So we're using a wide aperture to help guide our eyes to where we want our viewers to focus. All right, so we are now here at the bed. Our main character, I always forget his name, but our main character is up, he's awake. And again, you can see we are backlit. Why? Because you can see all of these little highlights around our main character, right? So he is totally standing out from the background and everything else in this medium close-up shot. And if you can notice, we're shooting at a higher angle, which kind of gives our characters a feeling of like they're losing or they're smaller or something. Oh, your default speaker has changed. But yes, it's making our characters feel a lot smaller, and he's probably hungover, which is another reason why the camera could be at a higher angle. He doesn't feel good, he's not feeling right in this frame, which is another reason why we would choose to go at a higher angle. All right, so let's take a look and see where the light and the shadows are falling on this particular image. So as you can see, the left side of our character's face is well lit, right? We can see it. It's very nice lit, and it's probably one of the brightest things aside from this area here in our frame, which is telling our eyes you need to focus right there, right? And if we look at the other side of his face, let's go to our blue, it's all in shadow, right? Now this is done on purpose. This is not an accident. This is another technique that is used as cinematographers to help make our images look more cinematic, to make our characters who we're filming feel three-dimensional, right? We have one side of his face that's well lit and the other side is in shadow, which kind of gives it a more well-rounded look. It's not all brightly lit. If you notice, everything around our main character is in shadow, which means our character, his face, is going to be the brightest part, which is where we want to look. It's guiding our eyes to this particular point, which for the shot is our character right here. And then I'm just going to go really quickly with yellow and just highlight all of the areas where we have light, right? So we have, again, a nice balance of light to dark, light to dark. All right, this is the closet shot. Again, the camera guy is probably behind all of these clothes and he's probably in a really crammed area, unless they built this outside of the closet, which is a possibility because most closets are really small if you notice them. All right, so let's take a look at the framing. As you can tell, we're not shooting into the L of the room, which means, again, the longest side of the room, which is going to make your room feel three-dimensional. We're actually shooting through something, which is another way to make our images feel three-dimensional. When you can't frame the L of the room in your shots, what you can do is add elements in front and behind your talent to give it a three-dimensional feel, right? We're looking through something. And oh wait, there's also something behind our character as well. So let me get my blue and let's just highlight all of these dark areas here, which are going to be all of the coats and the hangers, all these things here we have to look through just to see our talent, who is right here. Boom. As you can tell, again, I'm circling the dark side of his face, the shadow side, which we're shooting into the shadows again. As you can tell, let me switch over to my yellow pen. Here is our window. This is where all of the light presumably has been coming from on all of these shots that we've just been looking at, right? So all of that light is coming from behind our talent. And that's something, again, that we want to do if we want to make our images look cinematic. We want to give it layers with shadows, because we're adding shadows and we're adding light to give it this nice balance and to make things feel three-dimensional. I feel like I'm going to say this even more as we continue. All right, so on the right side of our character's face is going to be the brightest part of his face, right? Again, we are shooting into the shadows of the entire scene, but also our characters as well. And putting the camera on the shadow side of our character's face is another great way to shoot in the shadows and also make our images feel three-dimensional. And I'm pretty sure on this side right here, we're just getting a nice like little bounce light back into his face, right? Maybe there's a small light, or actually, I wouldn't say small light. I'm sure there's like a 4x4 or something that we could either push a light through to get this little level here, or we can just have a light out of frame, probably on the floor, shooting up and then bouncing into our character's face, which is how we're getting that soft light. As you can tell, we have a lot of light and we have a lot of dark areas in this frame, which makes this image feel very three-dimensional. And again, this is another way you can make your framing feel like it has levels, like it has depth, by shooting through things and also having things behind your talent or your subject. Boom, our character now is in the living room / kitchen, and we can see right away where the light is coming from. There is a window that is right here, right? And the window is shooting light out. And we can tell because if you look at his shoulder, we have this nice highlight like we've talked about before. And again, let's circle the brightest side of our character's face, which of course it's the one right by the window, which means the camera is a little bit to the left. If you can imagine, it's a little bit to the left to stay on this shadow side, right? We want to keep the camera on the shadow side of the image to make our character's face feel three-dimensional. And if you can notice, we have hard light here on his neck and hard light again on that shoulder. It's from this window, right? So you could be wondering, why do we only have hard light on the shoulder and on the neck? But on his face, it's really soft. It's because the cinematographer has put up a little flag or a net to make it soft on his face, but everywhere else it's hard. This is a technique that has been called soft fob, which is like hard light on the body, which again you can see here on the shoulder, and then soft light on the face. This is something that feels natural and it actually looks really nice. So if you have a chance to do some soft fobbing, put some hard light on your talent's body. Don't blow it out though. You don't want it to look too like pasty and nasty, but you're gonna want to set your camera to that brightest part of your image, and then just cover up your talent's face with a nice 4x4 of diffusion or a net, anything that's gonna make it look soft and look nice and elegant. That's what you want to do. And now just really quickly, let's go over the dark areas. On the shadow side here, we have this all is darker than the right side of his face. Even his shoulder is gone. Again, there is a nice little balance of light and shadows. We have light from the right side because there's a window. And notice we're not even looking outside of the window. Like if you look at this image here, you can see my window, you can see outside of it. So I had to set my camera to that brightest part of the image, and then I had to come in with these studio lights, which is pretty much what you would do if you wanted to see outside a window. You have to set your camera to that brightest part of the image and then bring in lights to up the values of everything else. So that could be a reason why they're not showing the window, because they don't want to use a lot of lights, or they just don't have the time or the budget or whatever it may be. Or maybe this is just the easiest alternative because heck, they could be filming at nighttime. Bet you didn't think about that. Or maybe you did. But yeah, they could be filming at night and there could just be this cool Hollywood light outside shooting in light. All right, so let's move on to this next one. And I chose this frame because it's pretty much the same exact thing that we talked about, the soft fob method. You could even do it on a television or anything else in the world. So if you notice, we have this TV, right? There's this TV here, and it's really dark everywhere around. But we have these slashes. Here's some more darkness. But we've got this slash of hard light right here. Boom. And you can see there's a hard shadow right there, right? So that's hard light. And then the television is really soft. So again, I'm sure they're using that soft fob method to just shoot light really hard and really direct down below. And then they're probably just getting a nice little flag to flag off the television so the light is softer. So this is hard light. H for hard, and then S for soft, because we are hard on the body, soft on the face. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that because it was cool. I don't think I've seen a TV with the soft fob with the soft fob method before. And then last but not least, we're going to be looking at the wide shot here on the breakfast scene. And as you can already see, there is a lot of darkness going on, and there's only splashes of light, which means your eye is being navigated and led to the right spot where the cinematographer and the director want you to focus. So now that I have my yellow pen, let's just highlight all of these bright areas. And here you can see there is a bright hard light. I'm going to put an H for hard. And then, oh my goodness, down here on the floor, we have like this highway of hard light. As you can see, there are shadows from the blinds. What are they called? Yeah, from the blinds. And the light is just coming down and hitting right there. Boom. So this is all hard light, right? So you would imagine, and you could probably think, there should be hard light everywhere. But there isn't. Again, this is the soft fob method. We're going to go hard on the body, on everything else other than our talent's face, and then soft light right here. Boom, just hitting our talent on the right side of his face. I'm going to do an S for soft, the H for hard, right? So we have that balance of hard light and soft light. We're not going to hit our talent with hard light. We want to hit them with soft light. We want to make them look nice and appealing. And then again, when you have like blank walls and there's nothing on your walls, like for instance, if you look at my walls, there's posters, so the wall doesn't feel like pasty and boring. There are paintings, there are drawings, there are anything on the walls that you can put. Art department, please come in, fly in, put something on the wall, make it look nice. And then also I'm noticing they did not turn on these practical lights. They could have had these on. You could have had a backlight, a nice little edge light. I wonder why they did that. Not too sure. There's even some more lights here, but they didn't turn them on. And that's your choice as a cinematographer. Will you turn on those lights? Will you give your character a backlight? It's up to you. You don't have to follow these rules, but these are some of the rules. And this is what is allowing me and helping me to hone in on my cinematography skills and knowledge, so that when I go on to set, I have these preconceptive ideas and approaches to how I want to light a scene. This is why I like to study cinematography, and I think this is why it's a great idea. If you're into cinematography, you should be studying stuff like this as well. So let's go in really quickly with our blue and just highlight all of these dark areas. Check it out. All of this is in shadow. Boom. Not everything's in shadow and not everything is in light. And this is how you get a nice, well-balanced image. And then let's just talk about framing really quickly. We are shooting into the L of this room. We are having things in the foreground. Look at this lines that we're creating. Boom. And then this line right here as well. Boom. We have this table, or this chair, I should say. Boom. And then our talent right there. So we have things that are guiding your eye to look right. Don't even know what that was. But look at our talent. So put things in front of your talent, and then also put things behind your talent. So have your talent in the middle, which is going to give it a nice three-dimensional look, and it makes your eye travel as a viewer. This is something that we are always trying to do as cinematographers as best as we possibly can under the time constraints, budget constraints, talent constraints, and everything else far and in between. When you're on set, these things are conceptually easy to think about, and as you can obviously see, we can break them down because it happens in almost every movie and almost every commercial. But when you're on set and you're on the time limit and you don't have the budget, it makes doing these things really tough. So that's what's really awesome about breaking these things down. I can learn the approaches to how images are put together. But when you get on set and you're on the clock and you're on the budget, it makes it really tough. So you have to come up with creative ways to make your images look as cinematic, as three-dimensional as possible. That is all that I have for you guys. I hope that you enjoy this, and I hope that maybe you learned something. If you like this video, you know what to do. Do a super jump on that like button down below, and also get subscribed to the YouTube channel, because every single Wednesday is a brand new vlog. And if you guys want to see some more cinematography breakdowns, especially with Cobra Kai, which is a show that I'm getting into, I'm about to start season 2, just let me know. I would love to do more of these. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm Matty V's cinematographer, and I will see you guys in 7 days. Bye on. I don't know what else to say. Boom, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Alright. I guess that's it. I really don't know. I really don't know, okay?